Hello everybody, welcome to the Am IT Geek YouTube channel. My name is Shabazz Dan, I am the IT Geek. Welcome to what is episode 2 of my Nerdio series. So just a bit of a recap. What we covered last week was just a bit of an introduction really into the series, what I'm going to be covering. So we mentioned there's going to be four episodes, I believe. So this is number 2. In the first episode, I just also gave a bit of a look over of the actual portal and what that looks like. In today's episode, we're actually going to go through the process of provisioning that portal and the steps it takes to get through that. So again, just up front, I want to say that I have no affiliation with Nerdio. I don't work for them. I'm not being sponsored by them. This is just a service and a management service I've heard a lot about and I've actually looked at for quite a while. I've just never had the chance or the time to kind of play with it and configure it and manage it. So I thought, why not, while I'm doing it for the first time, also do a video to show my experience and also my own personal thoughts around it. You know, on paper, it looks like an amazing tool, an amazing management tool for Azure Virtual Desktop. And again, the little bit that I have played with it, because I've already pre-provisioned it in one of my tenants, it's very straightforward and easy to use. So already really liking it. So not a lot of theory or anything like that today. No PowerPoint deck. Just going to get straight into it, and what I've got another tenant where we're just going to go through that first provisioning process. So what we'll do is now we'll flip into the tenant and get started with the episode. So here we are in the Azure portal, and this is where we need to provision the actual Nerdio Enterprise sort of tenant from the actual Azure Marketplace. So if we click on Create Resource, first of all, here we can see this is sort of the marketplace here. And straight away, we just type in Nerdio. And there we can see Nerdio Manager for Enterprise. So we'll click on that. So this is essentially the page to start provisioning it. Gives you some overview of what it is and what we offer, the plans, the information, support, any reviews that people have made. So what we want to do is click on Create. Now, in this example, I'm just provisioning it from scratch. If you have your own personal tenant, you can actually provision this and get what they call a community license. I'll put that in the description, but you contact Nerdio essentially, and I'll explain how to do that later on in the episode. But you can easily get a community edition, which is amazing. Lets you have a play with it and demo things. So straight away, we need to create a new resource group. So for example, if I select an existing resource group, there you go. First of all, you can see that it comes there. This resource group contains existing resources. Choose an empty resource group or create a new one. So obviously we need to create a new one because I don't have an empty one. We're just going to call this Nerdio Demo RG and click on OK. And this is obviously quite important. We need to select our instance details under the region. So you obviously got all these different areas where you can provision it. We're going to go UK South and simply go to Review and Create just to review what we've done. Let that validation run. And there you go, it's passed. And now we will click on Create. So what we'll do is we'll allow this to create. Once it's all provisioned, we'll come back into the tenant here, and then we'll show you what the next steps are. So we are, that deployment's now finished. It took around about 10 minutes for it to provision all the deployments. We're just going to deployment details. You can see all the various resources it kind of has to provision. So there's quite a few different. There's the Microsoft website. It says the SQL element, there's the insights, the automation. So it's quite a bit to it. So if we just go to the resource group, so this is the next stage now. So we've provisioned it through the marketplace, which is really the easy step. Couple of clicks, it's provisioned, effortless, really. The next bit is to actually go to the URL, the website essentially, so we can start provisioning it. So in this case, this is the app service. So if we click on the app service, and here we want to click on Browse because we want to essentially browse the app. That will then open the actual page that we need. So as you can see there, almost done, it says. So we need to follow the sort of following instructions to complete it. So here we have the Cloud Shell. So we essentially need to copy and paste this command and run it in Azure Cloud Shell. So let's just copy that to our clipboard. That's copied. Let's launch Azure Cloud Shell. And I believe I think I have the relevant bash already set up. And just make sure in the top left here we select the correct, command line that we want. We want PowerShell because the command that we've done or we've copied is a PowerShell command. It's not a bash command. So just make sure we're in the right terminal first of all. So once that's connected, there we go. We should be able to right click and paste that and then go enter. And now this will essentially just run its course and again, install where it needs to install. Again, once this is complete, we'll jump back into the Nerdio window and we'll keep on following these steps to get it configured. So as you can see here, we are back at the command prompt and that has finished the deployment. Again, that took about 5-6 minutes, so not too bad. If we jump back into this page here, which was the app service, and so it says that after completing the initial initialization, come back here and refresh the page. So let's do that. And because that PowerShell command has finished provisioning, this actually should take us to the actual dashboard, or at least the starting provisioning that dashboard. So we're in there now. We're in that Nerdio Manager for Enterprise, but we have still a little bit of configuration left. But again, the way Nerdio have done this, it's so straightforward and so simple to follow. So again, see there, we've got a blue tick, the Azure AD tenants ticked, the subscriptions ticked, don't need to worry about those. So we need to do Nerdio Manager registration. So it's unregistered, so let's click to register. Seems straightforward enough. So put in my name, my email address, am and then just a phone number, which I will leave blank for now. You probably just saw my mobile number there, but it doesn't matter. Let's click on register. Okay, so that's registered, excellent. So next is network. So let's just select the VNet we want to associate with it. Now, if we go into the resource group that we created, the Nerdio demo RG, there is nothing in here. So it should give us the option to create a new one, but it doesn't. So just a quick note there, once you've created that, we do need to actually create a new network within our resource group. So let's quickly go back into home, quickly go back into networks. Let's create another network in here. So we'll put it in the demo RG. Just call it Nerdio VNet, straightforward. Leave it in that region. We'll leave it on the default range. Not too fussed about that. Leave everything else as default. Let that create. Once this is finished creating, should be able to jump back into Nerdio Manager for Enterprise, and we should be able to select it. So yep, that's done. Excellent. So hopefully, if we just click on another one, click back onto Nerdio demo RG, and there we go. There it is. So even there, you see, I didn't have my networks, created in my resource group, which is new. I was able to just step to one side, create it, and it updates straight away. So just again, another really positive element of configuring Nerdio for Nerdio Manager for Enterprise. Straightforward, very quick and simple so far. So a good experience at the moment. And there's my subnet. Click OK. And that should be another tick. Excellent. We've got another tick for the resource group. Perfect. So connect to an existing Active Directory Azure AD DS or native Azure AD. So let's go because none's been selected. So we've either got Active Directory or we've got Azure AD. So let's see. Netcompany.team. So you need to have it provisioned already. Admin and the password, and then the organizational unit. So again, this is the path for the OU where session host will be created. If you leave it blank, it'll just go into the computers container. So for the purpose of this demo, because I'm just trying to do a simple deployment, I'll leave it blank, but just note that if you want your session host to go into a specific OU within your domain, then make sure you configure that organizational unit. And it gives you an example there. You'd go, OU equals host, DC equals domain, DC equals local, etc. So let's go OK there, and that's ticked. Perfect. File storage, we've not selected any, so let's go to that. And again, you've got some options here. You can skip this step for now, and it'll configure FS Logic's file share path later, or you can use Cloud Cache. Now, this isn't actually the tenant I'm going to use to deploy the services. This is just like a demo tenant that I just wanted to show how we provision Nerdio Manager for Enterprise. So for now, I'm going to leave this blank. Now here, if we wanted to enable Windows 365 Enterprise, which obviously is quite new, and that just shows how up to date Nerdio is. It's got, Windows 365 is what, about a month old. So they've already put that functionality in here, which is amazing. But again, I'm not going to tick that one. And then here we can have select whether you want to work with AVD's. So this is quite an important one. Do you want to do the fall, which is where the AVD tenants menu will be available, or do you want to do the spring update where workspaces? So, for me personally, I want to use the most up-to-date version. So I'm going to go with the workspaces. So it'll be the spring 2020 version for me. Or you could go hybrid if you wanted, but I really want to. I prefer the spring version. The fall version I have bad memories of. So I'm going to click on that. Click on done. And this will obviously tell us if there's any element that we're missing, which I think we've covered everything. So that grant consent, we want to grant that. So I have granted admin consent. Okay. But we need to give that permission. So we need to click on, so again, I didn't really follow the instructions properly there. So make sure you read the instructions. Let's click on the tenant. Make sure we sign in with the relevant account. And here we want to accept all the permissions that's required for the application. Admin consent granted, perfect. Slip back here. This time click on OK. Oh, might take a few. Nope, it's still. There we go. Third, fourth time charm. It takes a few minutes to synchronize. And here we go. We are now got a fully provisioned tenant. So that didn't take long at all. I think 20 minutes, 30 minutes in total. And that's waiting for things to deploy. So very smooth, very, very easy to follow. The ongoing instructions that the kind of portal gives you are amazing. Very clear. There's nothing really that confused me, apart from me not reading the instructions properly sometimes. So we're at the point of now where we want to provision resources. So that's not going to be this episode. That is episode 3. So you will have to tune in next week. But that is essentially what I wanted to show in this episode. Just how easy it is to provision it. And that's been my experience when I've done it in my other demo tenant, which we'll be using to provision the resources in the next episode. So thank you very much for watching. Again, I don't have any affiliation with Nerdio. I just think it's a really good tool, a really good management tool. And while I'm testing it and playing with it, I thought I wanted to show and share my experiences with yourselves. These are live experiences as well. That, as far as I know, it's a recorded video, but as you saw, I was clicking. I had to go back and do my network. So these are things that you might forget yourself. So this is by no way a guide for how you should do it. Follow the Nerdio documentation would be my recommendation. That's what I've done. But always follow the vendor recommendations and those sort of guides. So thank you very much for watching. Like always, I appreciate everyone's feedback. I appreciate everyone's support. Please, share my video, subscribe. Please do subscribe. Comment as you please. And yeah, so up until next time, thank you very much, and I'll see everybody later. Bye-bye.